welcome back to Counseling Confidential, where we decode high school. We're happy to be back this semester. I'm Jessica Stewart.
I'm Molly Woods.
And this week we're going to talk about boundaries. At the end of last semester, we had a 3-part series on stress and stress management, good stress and bad stress. And we wanted to start this semester by talking about boundaries, which is a way that we can manage our stress and really just manage our lives and the quality of it. And so what is a boundary? A boundary is a way to communicate our needs to others through words and actions. There are parameters that we establish with the intent to help others understand what we need. So an essential part of keeping our interactions comfortable and safe with others is also learning when to say no to others.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about what happens when we don't have healthy boundaries. So these are really unpleasant experiences and emotions, but they're kind of signals to us that we are not setting healthy boundaries in our lives. So one of the big ones is burnout. When you're doing too much for others or too much in your life, you're going to experience burnout. So that's that emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion that you feel when you're just not setting any limits. And then there's that resentment. If you are setting the expectation that you are going to be everything and help other people whenever they need it, that's going to affect your relationships, and it might cause some resentment towards other people in your life. And then there's superhero syndrome, and this is a big one that I see a lot. And this is an unreasonable belief that you can do everything and often without support from others. And then there's other unpleasant experiences you can have when you're not setting limits in your life, like anxiety and depression.
So how do I know if I have an unhealthy boundary? We're really going to start paying attention to our feelings on a day-to-day basis, like moment to moment, our interactions in our relationships. And it's really like when I have a conversation with you, do I begin to feel resentful? Do I begin to feel kind of sad? Do I begin to feel unsafe or like angry about that interaction, and really trying to think about what in that interaction is happening that are bringing those feelings up. So it's being mindful of the feelings that are coming up. And do I regularly ignore my desire to tell you no, or others no, or to say no to projects that I have the option to say no to? Am I constantly kind of giving up my power in that situation and not saying no? And maybe I need to start paying attention to that desire to say no and set those limits.
Like we all have that instinct, and I think the less we set boundaries, the more we kind of suppress that. So we need to start listening to that and actually responding to it, because it's telling us what we need to do.
Yeah, and it's like we said earlier, it's not just with other people, but ourselves as well. Sometimes we really enjoy taking on more tasks, and it's kind of a discipline to know, no, I actually don't need to take on that next project because that's not good for me. Being your own parent.
Absolutely, I love that. And I'm going to talk about the 2 types of unhealthy boundaries that we often set. So porous boundaries are boundaries that are weak. This is when we're not setting expectations for others and we're not setting limits in our lives. And the other type of boundary that people often have is rigid boundaries. So once you start doing boundary work, we have to be really careful that we're not moving into the rigid boundary area. And this is when your boundaries are so strict that you are not experiencing relationships, life experiences, resources, and support that you could have, because you're really shutting people out, you're shutting out experiences, and you're just kind of putting your life into this really safe little box. So that's it for this first part of our 3-part series on boundaries. And we're really looking forward to talking about this because it's so important, and it's kind of a new thing that I think we're all talking about right now.
Yeah. So we see you,
we hear you,
and we respect you.